So I'm seeing this topic in particular being spoken about all over the internet. I'm seeing reels, TikToks, I'm seeing other commentators on YouTube, and this isn't my usual style of content, but I did want to touch on this myself just because I have grown up being a big fan of Ariana Grande, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to give a biased opinion. I want to kind of voice my concerns. So just a quick disclaimer, this will include talks of EDs and general body weight or body image. I'm in no way trying to body shame Ariana Grande or anybody else that I'm speaking about within this video, and I do believe in general that there is a difference between body shaming and talking about something that is genuinely coming across as concerning. So one thing that is majorly being spoken about right now, there is one body part in particular that everybody seems to be fixating on when it comes to Ariana's body, and that seems to be her chest, particularly her sternum. People have very mixed opinions on this because obviously Ariana Grande herself quite some time back posted a story saying about how other people should not comment on her body and she feels the healthiest that she's ever felt. So some people are running off of that and thinking that she is genuinely healthy and this is like okay for Ariana and she's doing good. And then there's the other path, which is essentially that this doesn't look okay, this doesn't look healthy. To go off of Ariana's previous point with her saying that, you know, the previous body that everybody was comparing her to was the most unhealthiest version of herself. Apparently she was taking antidepressants and she was drinking on them and she was eating a load of junk food and all this stuff. But there is a difference between being mentally well and physically well, and the two don't always coexist. She may be feeling mentally better than she has done in previous, but this is the thing though, if she does have an ED, then she is going to be in denial. This ED will be giving her some sense of euphoria because in her mind she thinks she's going to be doing well, and all of the comments that are appearing in all over social media really about her appearance and how concerning it is really is just acting as fuel for that potentially. Now that's not to say that we shouldn't bring up something that we do find concerning, but I'm just saying that with people in an ED space, people will be like using those comments potentially as validation or as some form of body checking, because all the time they're getting those comments, they then think, okay, well I'm not gaining weight, I'm looking good, I'm doing okay. I watched another YouTube channel's video, their name is of Herbs and Altars I believe, but they made a very specific point in regards to body weight as you get older, because Ariana is in her 30s, right? So obviously it's highly likely that she could be, she could have like a fast metabolism, and obviously she's touring and she's very active, and she did this the two Wicked movies, which would obviously take a lot out of you physically because it is a very demanding job. But as you hit your 30s, it's shown that your metabolism kind of slows down a notch. So even with, ED behaviour, it would take kind of more extremes for more prolonged periods of time to be hitting the weight that Ariana Grande is at currently. People are currently speculating as to whether or not Ozempic might be involved or some sort of other weight loss drug. I mean, it's not unheard of. I mean, all over Hollywood, we're literally seeing celebrities' weight drop, so rapidly. And Ariana Grande's appearance isn't the first celebrity that's looking like this as of current. I mean, most notably, Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande's Wicked co-star, she also had the very same appearance as Ariana Grande while she was filming Wicked. I mean, compared to now, Ariana still kind of is showing that gauntly sort of appearance, whereas Cynthia Erivo seems to be doing a little bit better in herself. She's kind of gained some muscle mass back, she seems to be working on herself and doing what she needs to do. The other important thing to note as well is obviously I can't give you exact dates on this. I've not seen it for myself personally, but I've heard it being spoken about all over the internet that Ariana Grande back in the Tumblr days used to have an ED account. She'd go on tours and then she'd post pictures in the Tumblr about how after like a big tour where she's spent all of this energy, she's come back and she's got a dinner of like a couple of berries and like some green beans. It has become painstakingly obvious how many comments there are of people who have either previously struggled with EDs, who are currently in one, or just wrestling with those kind of thoughts in general. Like, I'm seeing comments all over the place, all over social media, of people saying, oh, Ariana Grande's dream, like, is my dream body, is my goal weight, all this stuff, right? And I think it is important to address that even though obviously celebrities have a private life and they shouldn't have to explain absolutely everything about their life or their lifestyle, I do think that when you do have that much attention and you are potentially influencing younger people or more impressionable minds, it's important to note when something isn't healthy and you shouldn't be pretending that it is. Obviously, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know if it is actually an ED, we don't know if it's some sort of illness or some sort of medication. Different medications can have side effects like that, especially as you get older. But I do think that, you know, although not necessarily a case of she has to, but I think it would be better if that was the case for her to disclose that and be honest about that, because it's not something that anybody should be aspiring to look like. That shouldn't be anybody's dream body at all. As I film this, Ariana is currently on tour. I believe she's on tour for 3 months, and the last time she toured before that was 7 years ago. And people are making remarks on, well, or comparisons even, of her current stage presence compared to that of previous. There could be a multitude of reasons why she's lost quote-unquote stage presence. It could be, you know, just confidence. I mean, in previous tours, obviously, she dealt with the Manchester bombing in the O2 Arena, and that was a really traumatic experience for her. And she really, really struggled with that for a long time, and I think that may also be playing on her mind. And also, just when you don't do something for a long time, when you've not been on tour for that long, I should imagine it's kind of like it's not so easy to just hop back on the bike. It's something that you're kind of like reteaching yourself as you go along. For lack of a better term, you could be like a little bit rusty. But obviously there is the obvious element that everybody is speculating about, which is her current body weight could be playing a part in why her energy levels just aren't there anymore. Her vocals are brilliant. Her vocals are the best they have ever been, don't get me wrong. I'm obsessed with Ariana's voice, right? But it has to be noted that compared to her previous performances, whether it be because of lack of energy, lack of confidence, previous traumatic experiences, whatever it may be, her stage presence just is lacking compared to her previous performances. Just to list off a few of the posts that were on Ariana Grande's Tumblr, there was a picture of a fridge that was filled with just like lettuce and a black coffee. There's pictures of like her grape dragon fruit or whatever it is that she ate, like that's all she ate that day. You know, there's pictures of how little calories she ate, and like there's quotations for it somewhere. I need to try and find the image if I can. But yeah, no. Oh, and the red string bracelet as well. That was very prevalent back in kind of ED Tumblr days. A red string bracelet was kind of like you representing the ED community. There's also been speculation that Ariana and Cynthia, when they were both in Wicked, might have been some sort of like ED buddies. It's not uncommon in the ED space for one person struggling with it to find or become friends with another person struggling with it. And EDs are very like competitive naturally in nature. So when you put these two together, if they were both struggling with the same thing, it is possible. But also to blame Cynthia for something that Ariana has supposedly always struggled with her entire life, even before she ever met Cynthia, seems a bit far of a stretch to me personally. This is the other thing I find strange as well. I genuinely want to know what happened on that Wicked set, because obviously it's not just Ariana and Cynthia that kind of look the way they do now afterwards either. I'm not familiar with many of the Wicked cast. I can't say that I've watched it personally. I want to at some point, but I'm kind of mixed opinion as to whether or not to watch it, because I feel like I'm supporting something I shouldn't be. But all of the memes that went around, you know, of the interviews where Ariana and Cynthia are together and they're both crying in like every interview, and they're basically all over each other and holding hands and cuddling and like all this stuff. Like, the memes were funny, right? Like, they were. And like, they had their limelight, but then it kind of turned into something else entirely. And they're trying to like blame Cynthia for Ariana's mannerisms or her struggles or the way she looks or things like this, which I do find absolutely baffling. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that type of relationship that they both had, whatever it may be, was healthy by any description. Like, the way that they are in the interviews and stuff, like when you watch them back, like it seems like they genuinely went through something more than it just being, oh, I'm going to miss Wicked. You know what I mean? Like, for how emotional they were. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that some actors, like especially these two, put their hearts and souls into Wicked, and like, but it just seems like more than that. But I don't think it's fair to blame Cynthia for everything that Ariana is currently struggling with either. She also, Ariana used to post pictures on this Tumblr account of her trying to sit in different types of objects. There's one of her in like a guitar case, and also there's another one of her in like a ballerina's unitard with like a tutu thing. And for anyone that isn't aware, obviously, EDs are very common along like the ballet kind of industry. It's kind of almost encouraged because, you know, it's seen within ballet that you need to be petite, you need to be delicate, you need to be like this ethereal looking, you know, creature almost. And it is a widespread thing among ballet industry. And I don't believe, like, I could be wrong, but I don't believe that Ariana's been in ballet or like that was a prevalent part of her life. So that was just another thing that seemed strange to me. There was also a lot of like hypersexualized or like slightly like passive aggressive like posts by Ariana. There was one specific one, there's a screenshot of it, and I think that there's mentions of it on Reddit as well. There's a picture of like this soup bowl, like an empty soup bowl, and the caption was like seen as very problematic because it was "Eat my soup, F your man." There was another picture which was a leftover dish of sauce, and it had like the caption of "Hide your mans." And we already know, like, not that this is related to like the body image or anything else, but obviously this is part of her like previous Tumblr account from back in the day. I believe, if I remember rightly, it might have been 2013-ish. But yeah, no, she does have a history of like being a little bit of a, well, I have mixed opinions, but like people are saying that she is like a homewrecker and all this stuff because obviously like she went with Ethan when Ethan had a family. But then I have mixed opinions on this. She shouldn't be going after people that are taken and have families, no. But also, like, nobody seems to be slating Ethan in all of this either, because Ethan is the one that is taken, not Ariana. Not that I'm defending Ariana's actions by any means, but I just think it's weird that Ethan, in comparison, seems to have got off scot-free in this situation. But the reason I bring Ethan up in all of this is supposedly, I think it was reported on TMZ. Once again, I'm not 100% certain, but from everything I've seen, Ethan and Ariana are split up, and I know that with previous breakups, she's kind of not handled them the best at all, and something like that kind of, you know, dissolving in her personal life could be another factor. I mean, like, when you've broken up with someone, depending on how it ended, depending on what they've been through, like, sometimes the last thing you want to do is eat, and like it can really throw you off mentally. And if she does have a pre-existing ED, that could be another trigger as to how she's kind of slipped back into this so badly. A lot of people are comparing Ariana Grande to Karen Carpenter. She was like a famous singer in the 70s, from what I'm aware of, but she passed away from Anna. And scarily, it looks like Ariana Grande is thinner now than Karen Carpenter ever was. But whoever Ariana's team is, whoever's responsible for the tours and things like this, I do have to question, like, why are they allowing this to happen? Like, they do have some level of responsibility, and I don't think that her touring for 3 months is a good idea in her current state. A lot of people are also bringing up, obviously, the like Taylor Swift interview and things like that on the documentary, because obviously Taylor Swift used to have eating struggles as well, and she has spoken very openly about this since. She mentioned that in her previous tours, when she was struggling and in this ED space, she was going through these tours and she genuinely felt like she was going to pass out mid-performance, and that really scared her. And obviously when she started actually fueling her body correctly, and, you know, she was physically strong enough to do them, she felt so much better in herself. And I think that's all any of us want for Ariana Grande, really, is because at this moment in time, like, obviously I can't say for certain, I'm not her, but it just looks physically painful for her to move in her performances. She looks drained, she looks tired, and I think that if she could fuel herself and, you know, be the best version of herself, that's all any of us really want for her. I do think that it is important to be having these types of conversations, as long as it is done in the right way and it's done, like, respectfully. There is a difference, in my opinion anyway, there's a difference between body shaming and pointing out genuine concern, and pointing out something concerning isn't hate either. If anything in this video has affected you, or you are struggling with an ED, please do reach out to the relevant organisations. There's so much help out there, and if you know anybody struggling, yeah, just it's important to be there for them, essentially. And I think with Ariana's case, she has to want the help. If she has an ED, she has to want the help. We can't force her to get that, you know, it just doesn't work otherwise, unfortunately. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you all enjoyed this. Let me know if you want me to do more content like this. I don't often come on here and do like a commentator kind of video, but I thought it made a nice change, and I thought it was something, you know, that was really important to talk about. I've always grown up on Ariana Grande stuff, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.